Good morning, everybody. Today is week 9 of my cross-country trip. I have basically been sleeping in the backseat of my truck for the last 9 weeks. I've been on the road after my husband asked for a divorce. And today I'm waking up in Wall, South Dakota, and I'm sitting in the cemetery. Cemeteries are one of my favorite places to hang out. They're so peaceful, and I just find so much happiness in cemeteries. I don't know why. I don't know if any of you guys have ever hung out in cemeteries. I'd love to find my people. I think I've found my ladies here that are following my journey. I'm so grateful to you guys. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit this morning about, the grief that goes along with divorce. I do put on a pretty good show, and of course I'm getting stronger every day, but there are days when, a certain song might come on the radio, or a certain memory or something will break me down, and I'll start crying uncontrollably and have to pull off on the side of the road. And, I know that even though this is the best thing for me, it wasn't something that I wanted. I gave my husband many opportunities to do the things that I was asking him, the things that I needed to do, him to do. And he just wasn't willing to do those things. And so I finally had set a boundary. This is something that I will no longer allow. And he basically said, I'm not going to do that. I refuse to accept the boundary. And so I walked away, and it was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. I didn't want a divorce. I was very much in love with my husband and still love my husband, will always love my husband. We were together for almost 10 years, and, we don't have children together, but my relationship with my daughter, a lot of you guys were leaving comments asking about why my daughter walked away from me as well. When we put our house on the market and he took a job in Virginia, he left about 8 weeks before I did. I stayed back to keep trying to sell our house and show our house and sell all of our things, because I didn't want to move a whole bunch of things across the country. So I thought it would be better to just sell everything. So over like 3 or 4 weeks, I had several yard sales. I sold a bunch of things on Facebook Marketplace, and basically just kept all the things that were my personal mementos, like photographs, things that were holiday decorations, things that can't be replaced. And so those were the things that I kept. And in October, I took those few things, just a few things for me to work, to set up my office and move back in Virginia. Well, he had already been in Virginia for 2 months, living at my daughter's house. And they work for the same company. And so I guess during that time they formed, a bond, a relationship. He was telling her things about our marriage. She was talking to him about her and I's relationship. And they kind of created this like bond over hating me. And so when I finally said to him, listen, you can't get my daughter involved in our relationship problems. This was right around Christmas time. He basically was, didn't say he wasn't going to stop talking to her about it, but, didn't say, no, I'm not going to, but basically kind of kept doing it, and I kept allowing it. And so at Christmas time, we went to the airport to pick up his son, who came to stay with us for a week during Christmas. And while we were at the airport, I basically told him then, you can't speak to my daughter about our relationship anymore. And if you're not willing to do that, then I think we should get a divorce. He went in the airport to pick up his son and called my daughter on the phone and told her that I just threatened him with divorce, after I just told him that he can't talk to my daughter about our marriage. And so not only were they working together, but they were living together. We were all living in the same house. Her boyfriend was also living there. So there's 4 of us living there. Then it became a point where I wasn't doing the things that she wanted me to do. She wanted me to go to therapy. She wanted me to do these things with Ernie. She wanted me to, she wanted all these things for me that I was not willing to give. And so she stopped talking to me in February. So we're living in the same house from February until I left there on April 10th or 8th to go back for the sale of our house. She didn't speak one word to me during that time. So I was getting the silent treatment from her, and I was getting this, basically my husband checked out, wasn't talking to me. And so when it came time for us to do the sale of our house, we finally got an offer on our house. I went back 3 weeks early to make sure everything was ready to pack up the few things that I had saved in the garage. And I told him that when I got back, we had to find someplace else to live. I didn't think our marriage could survive if we continued to live in that environment. Plus, I was feeling extremely ostracized by my daughter. She obviously didn't want me there. Even though I was living in the house during the day, working from home, I was taking care of the animals, cleaning the house, making sure that everything in the home was taken care of during the day. And so between the two of them, they just made me feel like they didn't want me there. And so when I finally set the boundary and said, you can no longer speak to her about our marriage problems, he said, no, I won't do that. So I said, okay, I'm walking away from this. She obviously didn't, I don't know what she wanted or what the situation was with her, because she hadn't been speaking to me. But when I tried to get my things out of her house, she locked me out. She wouldn't let me in. I called the police. All my stuff from my business was in there, probably $10,000 worth of art supplies, my computer, everything that I needed to run my business was in her house. So I called the police. They told me I didn't have any, I had to get an attorney. They couldn't let me in it because I never had a house key. She wouldn't give me a lease to say that I lived there legally. So I had no way to get my things. My husband took the animals from me, wouldn't allow me to see my animals. So within the whole scope of 4 months, basically, I lost my home, all my possessions. I walked away from my town where I had an established business. I moved back in with my daughter on the East Coast in hopes of this fabulous dream of building a home with my husband and living out retirement there. And none of those things happened. And I lost so much. My animals, my life, my husband, my daughter, my dreams. And, I walked away with some money because we sold our house, but I ended up selling all of my mom's possessions, all of her furniture and things, because, I gave all of those physical things up for a future with my husband and my family, and that's all I ever wanted. And now I'm sitting alone in a cemetery in South Dakota, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And, why my family wants me to fail so badly. I just have nothing but love for them, and I don't understand at all. And so I'm out here trying to figure it out. So grief and tears, that was my crying for today. Boom, I'm done and over it. I'm not going to beat myself up about it because it comes in waves, and I know that I'm going to be stronger, and this experience is making me stronger. I'm going to curl my hair today. I got a great night's sleep last night, and the storm that I saw last night was so amazing, you guys. I'm going to post videos today. I'm headed back to the Badlands, and then I don't know where I'm going. Corn Palace in Iowa, I guess, is my next spot. Thank you guys for following along, and hopefully next time you see me, I won't look so raggedy, and I'll definitely have a different sweatshirt on. Just know that you can tough through the grief. It comes in waves, and it's all part of your healing process. So I'm rooting for you, and we can do this together. Have a great day.